This case, it's a real case. It's a real case scenario that we lived, my colleagues and myself, during the pandemic. It's a situation in which they didn't have problems before. Then they turned to a virtual setting or hybrid setting, and actually things started to go south. The case has three main characters. Okay, we have Derek, who is the leader of this team. Then we have Laura, we have Christine, and we have Larry.
So when I walked into the class, the case study that he gave kind of made it more clear as to why this was so important, because we see that, this case is so specific in the sense that everyone, be it Laura, Larry and Christine, write in their own ways.
Derek, the main character in this case, has three members with different perceptions as well as different attributes.
One's looking at, just the team dynamic, and one's looking at her own personal growth.
So now Derek has this difficult situation of taking a decision how to motivate his team and get back to the efficiency that they had before COVID.
Sounds good so far. Let's do this. You have 20 minutes from now to identify problems and to provide solutions. You can join your group, and 3, 2, 1, let's go. Okay, let's get started. So, first, problems. Who wanna start? Okay, Diksha.
It's very easy as well as relatable when you have case study approach that we have across all the subjects that we study here. We take that approach of the person who is actually facing the problem and see all the perspectives from all the angles.
Communication gaps within the team.
Okay, communication gap between within the team. Yes. Abraham. Yes, Abraham. Go ahead.
I feel like the main problem is a lack of trust and valuing the team members.
And in today's situation, the case, it was clearly evident that the three employees, they had exceptional skills, but they lacked team motivation. And that led to the downfall of the team.
Let's put together different perceptions with different expectations, a lack of communication within the team. We have different expectations, and we are not communicating these expectations or perceptions that we have. What happens?
First I heard about this session, the first thing that clicked in my mind was that this is going to be a human resource class. The more I dwelled into it, the more sessions I attended with the professor, I realized that this is something that we all need working in a corporate environment. When you're working in a setup, you're working in a team. Either you have to learn team building, you have to learn how to collaborate with your peers.
While we are discussing case studies, we usually work in teams. So it helps us to gather different perspectives, because sometimes we become pretty unidirectional, unidimensional. But working in a team adds that value of multi-dimension and teaches us how to value perspectives, because that's what we face in our corporate lives, our working culture.
So we have interpersonal conflict here. Agree, okay? Why? Because they start thinking and blaming each other. They are not thinking about the object itself. Okay, they start thinking about who is guilty in this kind of situation. Laura feels that she puts all the effort in the activities. On the other side, you have Larry, who says, "You know what? But I'm delivering my results. Well, what's the problem here?" Same thing for Christine. Okay, she disappears, but she's there. She delivers. And Derek knows that.
Derek faces a difficult one because he has to cater to three different types of people, and it's not always one size fits all solution. So Derek has to take into consideration everyone's suggestions, plus he needs to convey the problems he will face when he curates a solution.
Here, what we are doing is challenging the traditional way of interpreting belonging. But just a very quick question. Do we have to take in considerations their personal priorities or not? Why? Yes, in 2 seconds you change. You change your mind. Why yes and why no?
So how do you deal with someone who's all three of them who are right, but yet make sure that they work well as a team? I believe it is important to kind of take into account their priorities, because we need to know what drives each individual. Only if you know what drives a person, you know how to motivate them, and each team member is different.
Do you remember what we were mentioning last, few classes back? We have a performance that is motivation multiplied skills. Here they have the skills, they have still the performance, but the motivation is dropping, so it's becoming dangerous, this situation, okay? Agree completely.
The takeaway for me was the formula which the professor said, which was performance or output is equal to skill and motivation. And most of the time people overestimate skill and they completely ignore motivation.
So we were talking about lack of motivation and about how each individual might have different motivational drivers. So how difficult will it be to put in place an uniform structure?
Okay, this is something that is particularly difficult, okay? But this is something that brings us to the solutions.
With the kind of cross-cultural connect that we have, it's a huge amalgamation of the Indian culture as well as the European culture. It's definitely going to be a cross-cultural disconnect.
Milan, Italy, it's very, very different from your, typical US or even for that matter British culture, right? So it's very important for us to know how to deal with each individual culture differently, because in certain cultures the way you speak is also very important. A session like this definitely kind of brings into light these kind of questions that you should be asking yourself while dealing with any and every situation, regardless whether it is within India or outside.
Great, okay. Now, you think it's over. It's not. There we go. Let's start.
So I think in solutions, Derek needs to be a little more assertive, and they need to have at least one particular time so that all of them are on the same page.
We depicted some solutions here and potential actions, okay? So let's take this as an opportunity, not as a constraint. Think about what we can do, okay, starting from this perspective or the hybrid perspective that can satisfy both our need, the organizational need, the group need, okay? Try to think about this. It's plenty of opportunity. Now, the real challenge is to blend the two worlds, okay? This is the challenge that we have. And we have to start from both the organization and the individual. Blend it together. Otherwise, there is no way we maintain the organizational goal up to par. On the other way, we have problems in retaining good people and talents. Because talents, if you do not provide your ability, okay, to fulfill somehow also their priorities, they will go, okay? It will not be a silent quitting or a quiet quitting. It will great resignation. Okay? Great. Done. We have to do it, this kind of thing more than once. Okay, this video shooting, because it's something that helps us out to have you on time with the name tags in front of you. That's something that we have to plan every single day.